Those numbers are showing this huge weight of the influence of corn.
Mr. Charles Pyatt, 2637 Floyd Line Street, Greene, Iowa.
I'd just like to say that it's really been a surprise to me to see how this turned out. Maybe some of us as farmers, a lot of times we don't really see how others see us. And by the way, they did fly Hattie, my wife, and I out to Washington, D.C. for the showing out there. Interestingly enough, the first question that came up was a girl that was raised in a farm, I believe in Indiana. And she looked right at me and she said, "Did you let those guys sleep out in that cornfield with that lantern all night? What's the matter with you guys?"
I'd love to know if there's anyone who disagrees with some part of how we handled the film, or if anyone has any thoughts on where we might have missed the mark or not gotten things quite right. Kath?
I think one where you're kind of promoting grass-fed beef. If you can chew that stuff, you probably could eat it. But I think this corn-fed beef is a lot better product.
How many minutes of film did you have to sift through to distill this down to 80 minutes? I sort of already know the answer to this.
Well, Bruce was really long-winded, so we had hours and hours of footage. And it was funny, whenever we took out the camera in town, there was Bruce.
We also had, there were some anxious moments when it was going on, for me particularly. You notice the photography, a lot of it was taken from the top of the grain bin. They set that camera clear up the top of the grain bin, crawl up there and filming. And I remember one day another gentleman you brought along from New York, he got about halfway up that roof ladder and he got scared and froze. About that time I thought about afterwards, I didn't even have a doggone liability thing signed by you guys.
You really eat McDonald's and that junk food that much? Some young people go to McDonald's every day or every week, and I never do. Do you really do that, or is it just in the movie? I mean, what are your eating actual habits?
That's a great question, and I assume it's aimed at being Kirk.
No,
that's okay. I don't go to McDonald's a lot anymore.
One thing I noticed about these guys that they're very idealistic. They're very idealistic in that they think it should be a certain way, and that it would be perfect if we could go back to the olden days when things were different. But as idealistic as I would like it to be, I would like to have a lot more chickens, Dawn. There's a lot of things that seem very romantic in the good old days. But one thing that I was shocked when I came back to Greene was that everybody who used to live 10 feet from a chicken house and slept every morning and every evening, but nobody wants the smell anymore.
I wish I'd have had you young guys out there when we was cleaning rocks off that place. You'd have found out what it's like to get the farm ready to go. I thought it was a joke when they come out.
Well, it's great to see you.
Well, I can only imagine your joy. I'm giving up show business as of, right now, as of tonight.
Turn on the radio without your shoes. Where would you go?
I think we received very well. I mean, you didn't destroy the farmer. I mean, you didn't make him look bad at any means. I mean, everything. I mean, basically, the slant you guys took was basically on the eating habits of America.
The film was a good film, you know. I disagreed with the cattle feeding. Yeah, they feed cattle like that out there. But I could feed cattle on corn, and I had corn-fed beef, and I guarantee you they didn't get sick either. But there wasn't a zillion cattle in one bunch. My nephew raises, you know, all our hogs are in confinement now, or the most part of them. And they are on antibiotics from birth to market. My nephew raises pigs the old way and sells them to Newman Pork. The only time they can have antibiotics is if when they're sick. So he raises them the old way and he gets a good price for it.
What do you think about that?
I think it's a good way to do it. He's never raised hogs any different. He don't have any expensive buildings or anything, and he makes a good living. If he didn't do that on that farm, he'd have to have a job outside the farm. But his pork, if you eat that pork, it's totally different. It's got a different taste. I mean, that's just, yeah, it's the way it was supposed to be.
I think there would be a desire to get back to what you say, you know, the ideal farmstead where you've got a couple head of cattle, a dairy cow, some chickens, sheep. No, just a typical small farm. I mean, a great storybook type farm. However, the economics of it all anymore will not allow for that to that detail. I mean, I'm farming now with my dad, and he's going to be retiring. It'll be 1,000 acres. I'll be farming with him, as well as working at the co-op. So I mean, you got to diversify all your things you do, and I've started a new venture into confined hog building. So there'll be. I mean, I'm just trying to diversify all the different things. I mean, you know, the farms as they used to be diversified with, you know, different livestock, cows, pigs, horses, sheep. Now it's different business ventures, whether you're a seed dealer, you know, you're into confined hog buildings, confined cattle lots, working an off-the-farm job. I mean, it's a lot different income sources coming in, creating that revenue that you didn't used to need to live when you're sustained on your own farm.
I've kind of discovered myself as a farmer in the last 3 years, in which I decided that I would deal with what it takes to put enough sweet bell peppers into not only a Hy-Vee grocery store, but restaurants and institutions. I can plant 10,000 sweet bell pepper plants on an acre. And if I get 10 to 15 peppers per plant and sell those peppers for 50, 60 cents each, that's what that production is all about monetarily. Then I have to get it to the marketplace, and I found that that's a great challenge because, like king corn, I'm dealing with king tomatoes, in that those king tomatoes are cheap. They're from California, Canada, Mexico. I would love to hear every Democratic and Republican candidate speak to how agriculture in Iowa and in the Midwest can become more diverse, that it could be focused on local markets, fresh food, that we could join corn and soybeans as primary products from the land.
Here's a little story about a man who was a bore. He never knew what to do. He liked to dance, he liked to sing, he liked to shake his thing in front of everyone.